Okay. Namaste, everybody. Happy Monday. Let's go ahead and take 3 breaths. I thought that might be a fun thing to do. So wherever you are, find yourself in a comfortable seat. And just close your eyes. We'll take 3 breaths together. In and out through your nose, breathing in and out through your nose. 2 more, breathe in and out. Good, 1 more. Out. So, 3 breaths is a great idea every day. There's the beach. My family over there somewhere. But I wanted to talk to you guys about a few things. Breathing is important for many reasons. One, my yoga teacher used to say that you are your breath. So that's something to think about. If I am my breath, then I am spirit. And if I am spirit, flat. If I'm spirit, then I am connected to everything, and this experience in my body is just that. It's simply an experience of living in a body. And the purpose then of living in my body is to realize and to remember that I am spirit. And in that realm of unified love, all is one. Even though you're over there and I'm over here, we're still connected. We're just one energy. And my lesson for today was that no one can fail who seeks the truth. And I just thought that was so powerful, especially given my week. This past week has just been, in a way, so intense and so healing. I had the opportunity of doing 2 transformational breath classes or sessions, if you will, with my friend Michelle Brody, who's been studying transformational breath, and I'm at the very beginning. I know very little about it other than it's super powerful, and it uses breath and toning to really wake up trauma that lives in the body. And I remember the first time someone told me that I had trauma to deal with, and I was like really taken back and kind of like annoyed by that. Was a naturopathic doctor when I was living in Sonoma, and I was just having a lot of kind of weird issues like inflammation and bloating, and skin breakouts, and just stuff. I was probably at the time 29, and I went to see this naturopathic doctor. I thought, I just need to get my cycles on track. Something's going on. And she asked me about my personal history, and I talked to her a little bit about my hip surgeries. I talked to her about marrying Larry, who was 30 years older than me, and how difficult it was to disappoint my family. I had all these big expectations coming my way, and I knew I had to do it, and I wanted to do it, and I was, in so many ways, felt like it was my destiny, but I knew that I was hurting the people that love me the most, and I really took that personally. Like, I remember being in a coaching session with Dorothy, and she said, "Do you think it's your responsibility to make others happy?" And I was like, "Yeah." Duh. And she was like, "That's a going." And I was like so insulted. Because here I was thinking, I'm making other people happy, and at least I'm trying to, and thinking that it was my responsibility to make other people happy. And here's this woman that I love and respect saying, actually, no, when you think you're responsible in making other people happy, you take away their power. You take away, you think that you're better than them. You think that they need you to be happy, which is just untrue. So it's been a big unlearning, if you will, in most of my adult life around some of the concepts that I thought were real that are not. And one of them is this. I remember the first time I read The 4 Agreements. That's such a great book. If you haven't read it, pick it up. But one of the 4 agreements is don't take anything personally. And in this last week, I've just found myself really could be very likely the transformational breath, like waking up this trauma, this thought creates form in the body. Of course, Miracles says that no thoughts are neutral and they create form in some kind. So if I'm thinking loving, healthy thoughts, then my body will be that way. But if even there's a small part of my mind that is living in the guilt or fear or shame or anything like, or not good enough, that was a big one, unlovable, it's only one or the other. So I can't just have like 99% super healed mind and this 1% that's errant, that just kind of keeps going into those habitual thought patterns of I'm not good enough, or I'm responsible for others' happiness. And when they are unhappy, I guilt myself so deeply about that. And that's what cancer has become for me. Cancer has become this little ball of pain. It's like all my stored trauma, all my stored discomfort, and now it's manifested in this very unnatural way. And I have this beautiful opportunity to grow and to look at how I've contributed to that and how I can change it. This transformational breath has been very powerful because I've learned that I've held on to a lot of things that I don't need to hold on to anymore. And not only that, I've been unwilling to feel. A lot of the yoga mentality is you're not your body, you are your breath, and all of those types of things. But the truth of it is we live in a body. And even though I know that I am my breath, I have this body that I've got to attend to. And to the extent that I'm unwilling to feel my pain, I fear my discomfort, I'm like, it's unreal, I'm just not going there, I'm not even going there. It's still creating some form and some messages in my body. It's activating my cortisol levels, it's activating this like fight or flight thing that's going on, this like kind of constant underlying low-level stress. And the longer that goes on, the more it can create disease or dis-ease, DIS-ease in the body, because the body's uncomfortable. It's unnatural to have all of these like extra thoughts and extra thoughts, but disempowering thoughts about not being good enough, thoughts about being guilty, thoughts of being about responsible for other people's happiness. And I mean, it's one thing if they're your children, but for example, for our partners and for our friends and our families, we're not responsible for that. We're not responsible for other people's happiness. We are responsible for our own happiness and for the happiness of our children. Certainly we're emotionally responsible for our children, at least until they're an adult. But it's a big stretch to kind of step out of those patterns of thinking. And not only that, to feel them, like to feel the trauma and to feel the pain that they create, instead of avoiding it and pretending that they don't exist. And I'm just sharing that with you because I think it's important that we really get real and honest. And it's like, here I am, 15 years of yoga, 12 years of coaching, and I'm so grateful for both of those tools because they've taught me, like they've given me the confidence to make this decision, right? They've given me the confidence to choose alternative therapies, to take this thing, by the reins myself. Like I knew that when I was going into surgery and they were like drawing on my breast and like with her finger, and for the second surgery and like all of that, it was like creating more trauma. And I just really wanted to address the trauma for once in my life. I just wanted to do it. And it's hard to feel it and to allow myself to kind of go through that process. And I've said often in the yoga teacher trainings that yoga can strengthen your ego or your spirit, and it's a very fine line. And what I've noticed is that even though I have been strengthening my spirit, absolutely, and even though my body's, strong and I can do handstands, and that's all great stuff, there have been parts of my mind that I've been unwilling to look at. And because mind creates form on some level, the constant not looking, it's not authentic, it's ignoring. And ignorance is just to ignore. So I've just been ignoring certain things that have been painful in the past. And now I'm going there because now I realize that the only way out is through. So I'm not afraid of it. It's uncomfortable. It's certainly shaken me to my core. If you're interested in transformational breath, check it out online. I'm hoping to just continue learning more and more about it. It literally brought up these feelings in my body that were just so profound. But the release after, I'm going to post a picture, like I looked different. My eyes were lighter. My face was lighter. And it's something. It's really something to start to feel it and stop ignoring some of the pain. Because we all have it. And you might as well acknowledge that it's there. Open the door and shine the light all over it. Just keep reminding yourself not to take anything personal. The other 4 agreements are don't assume. It's a big one. Don't assume. Because, I mean, assuming is, like in the Course in Miracles, is taking on, it's a judgment. It's taking on a role that is not yours. And I'm of the mind that God doesn't judge. I don't really think that, I'm pretty sure of this too, that there's not like this all-encompassing power that's waiting for you to mess up so that, you know, you can beg for forgiveness because you're so unworthy and you're a bad person and God is so much better than you and you're never going to live up to that. And I think a lot of us, you know, have misinterpreted a lot of that Judeo-Christian upbringing and some of those things. I'm really of the mind that it's the exact opposite, that God doesn't even see our insanity, doesn't even see our errors, can only see us in the love and only in the light, because that's where He is and that's what He is. So this whole experience of living is a return to that. It's a return to the reality. It's a return to the truth of who we are. And to the extent that we're assuming or we're judging others, we're missing and deflecting the miracles. It's like if I'm judging you or you're judging me even in this moment, like we don't know other people's stories, we don't know their past, we don't know what they're dealing with on a day-to-day. So the idea in A Course in Miracles is to see through it. It's not to avoid it. And I think that I've made that error in the past. I've avoided, and now I'm seeing through it. I'm trying to look at what's coming up and bringing up all this emotion through me, allowing myself to feel it and seeing through it to the other side. So that's the meaning of tolerance in the Course in Miracles. To be tolerant is to be without judgment. And that's huge these days, just to allow it. Anyway, the other 2 are in the 4 agreements are always do your best and be impeccable with your word. So given we do make errors, which all of us do, I've certainly made a whole lot myself, I'm looking to let myself off the hook also though and not take it also personally. Like, okay, so I made some errors professionally. If I think I need to know everything, then absolutely I should be upset about that. I should be judging myself. I should have known better. But if I know that I'm here to learn and that this is a schoolroom, then I can let myself off the hook. I don't have to feel so guilty about the errors I've made. Instead, I can learn from them. And I think that that's what this whole story is all about for us. It's like, let's stop making everything so personal. Let's stop pretending that we know everything. Let's not assume we know what's best for someone else, too. How about that one? That's a good one. Let's be impeccable with our word, you know, to the best of our ability. Let's say what we mean and let's mean what we say. Larry had a great line. He would say, practice what you teach and teach what you practice. So that's what I'm up to. I've been really tender this week. Just tender. It's like I've opened this whole Pandora's box, like around feeling. looking at things and experiences that I've had in the past and going through each one and atoning. Like, all right, I can see how I might have messed that one up. I can practice forgiveness. I can let myself off the hook for that. Yeah, I think it's really important. It's the stress, friends. It's this low-grade stress. That's what fear is. Sophisticated stress. Stress is sophisticated form of fear. And it's like being at the beach and being in this environment has showed me how stressed I am. Like, and without really judging myself, but like on silly things. Like, you know, my daughter's hair is turning green from the pool, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get this stuff. I gotta get the green out of the hair. I'm like going crazy about it. And I was like, wow, really just relax. Like, we'll figure this thing out. You know, like, is it really that big of a deal? She's having a great time. She's happy. Why am I making up so much stuff? You know, like, why am I so stressed? And now it's like the first question is, why am I so stressed? And now it's like, oh, I'm in fear. And I'm saying it for real. Oh, okay, I'm having fear right now. I'm afraid I'm not good enough. I'm not being a good enough mother my daughter has been. It's like, all right, now, am I willing to let that go? And sure, yeah, the answer is yes. And then I get to see what my soul wants to learn from that experience. That I am a good mother. And that I am doing the best I can. You know, children are happy. Husband is happy, friends are happy. God's will for us is perfect happiness. And to the extent that I'm willing to align to that, then God will provide perfect happiness. But if I'm trying to control it, I'm deflecting it. I'm in its way. And I believe that God's will for all of us is perfect happiness. But we can't receive that until we're willing to move out some of the junk, move out some of the pain, move out some of the fear, move out some of the trauma, acknowledge it, and then release it. That's what I'm sending out to you guys this week. That this is big stuff. This is the time to get real. Start stretching a little bit further, maybe a little bit more out of our comfort zone. Because on the other side of all of that darkness is so much light. So much light, and it's like I could see God in one of these sessions. It was so amazing. Like, it was really, really powerful stuff. Transformational breath, check it out. Yeah. So thank you for listening today. Another Miraculous Monday, talking about cancer, and talking about trauma, and talking about healing. And, yes, healing happens in the mind, but let's learn how to collaborate with the body instead of storing and kind of pushing down all the discomfort, and all the stuff that we don't want to talk about. We push it down. I just know for me, it's created this little ball of cancer. And I'm trucking away at it, one hurt at a time. I'm just like starting to break through, see through it. Forgive myself, forgive others, and letting everybody off the hook. Just so much better. So, sending you guys lots of love here. And, yeah, we'll be in touch soon. Love you guys. Namaste.